Welcome back to Cheese La Vida. We're going to talk about some Marvel stuff. Recording this the same day as our DC discussion. Nathaniel really loves Venom.
The Venom movie, people said it was going to suck.
I thought it was going to suck, most likely.
I had faith because Tom Hardy was the actor.
Because he has a big crush on Venom.
I have a big crush on Tom Hardy. No
The
homo.
pancreas, eyes, lungs, so many snacks, so little time.
The
movie went hard as fuck. I'm just gonna fucking cut ahead to the bullshit right now.
Yeah.
The movie was great.
People were saying that the movie wasn't comic book accurate. First off, that's bullshit.
Below me.
If you know anything about Venom, you'll know
He's
that,
a goofy son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's a fucking weird. He's a joke. He's so weird. That's how he jokes when he kills someone. Exactly.
You're a loser, Eddie.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. He's an alien from another planet. He's all-knowing. You know what I mean? It's the thing, when Venom and Spider-Man, they were talking about how he didn't have his spider on his chest.
Alright, I'm gonna be honest. That's the worst part of the movie for me, that he didn't have the spider on his chest. I fucking liked this movie, and I'm gonna kind of cut you off because I want to say, as a critic going in, I had absolutely no faith. I thought Sony was going to fuck this movie up. I thought studio interference was going to be out the ass, just like Warner Brothers did with Justice League, stuff like that. Or just like Universal did with the Mummy film. I just thought we were going to get some corporate product bullshit. I thought if there was going to be a saving grace to this movie, it was going to be Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock and his interaction with the symbiote and what they were going to allow it to do. And you know what? That's what the fuck we got. This movie kicked ass.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
It's a little slow to start. Not going to lie. For a 2-hour, 20-minute movie, it's very slow. It takes about an hour for you to get into the full Venom action. But after that, it's worth it. It's like a long build-up. And sure, it could have been edited a little better. Well, I'll get into that a little more. But for what I got, I have no complaints. None at all. I thought this movie was going to take a shit on my doorstep. And instead, I got a beautiful baby.
Damn. I don't really know how to come at that, bro. Great movie.
Well, why don't you tell them about your man crush on Venom?
I have a man crush on Tom Hardy. Like I said, no homo, kind of homo. Great guy.
Let's not stand on ceremony,
Yeah.
Mr. Wayne.
If I take off that mask, will it kill you? It'll be extremely painful.
It'll be extremely painful.
Right.
Well,
So-
he was also Mad Max.
Mhm.
He was also... That man made his debut in Black Hawk Down.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, dear God.
He's a great actor.
One of the best.
Literally, probably.
I don't care what anyone
the
says.
best actor alive. He's a method
That would
actor.
be
That's
a
what makes
debate,
him great.
but
That's what makes
it'd
him
be
great.
one worth having.
Venom movie, for me, it's a 9 out of 10. The acting, the chemistry. What I love the most is the
I'd
little
give
bit...
it an 8. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was a good movie. They did a little... I think Venom was accurate besides the spider.
I thought Venom was extremely accurate. I wish they gave him the spider, but I understand why they didn't.
Tom Hardy's portrayal on Eddie Brock.
Unconventional take. I liked
A
it.
little bit of a spin, but good.
Yeah,
He wasn't a dick.
he was kind of a dick.
He was dick-ish, but he wasn't like a full-on dick.
He
He was very forward.
definitely had his dickish traits accentuated once he had the parasite.
Oh yeah.
Parasite?
Favorite scene in the movie, he looks out the window and he's like, jump. And they get to the elevator and he's like, pussy. So that...
The interactions are great. That's what I'm saying. That's what made the movie, was they let Tom Hardy loose with the symbiote.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they needed to do for a Venom movie. Now, what kind of pissed me off was that it's not R-rated, and it definitely was supposed to be. I'm sure this movie was edited to shit.
Supposedly, there's an uncut R-rated version coming. And I'm excited. Venom's probably going to be in theaters for another month because of how well it's doing.
Well, didn't it break an October record for opening weekend or something?
Yes. So
made 80 million.
Let me start off by saying this too.
Go see the fucking movie.
Go see the movie. Do not believe in Rotten Tomatoes.
Fuck Rotten Tomatoes. There is a fucking conspiracy to try to get people to go see A Star Is Born, a nice conventional musical that's a fucking third remake of some bullshit from the 40s.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Go see Venom.
Yeah.
Go see Venom.
Rotten Tomato is toxic. First off, you'll see that their tomato score, which is really...
Is Chiesa LaVita even a verified commentator on Rotten Tomatoes?
If we're not saying something, don't fucking believe it. Listen, so the tomato score is at like a 28%, but the audience reaction score is almost at a 90.
Yeah, and here's another thing. The Last Jedi sucked ass. We already established that. That movie's at like what? It's
like 90%.
Look it up right now.
I think it's almost at 100%.
And I know people hate that movie. It's almost like the entirety of Star Wars YouTube hates that movie. And I know people think, well, that's groupthink. But no. No. Because there's people who aren't Star Wars fans who fucking hate The Last Jedi.
91%.
You see what I'm saying?
Let's look up Venom really quick on Rotten Tomatoes, because
you know what? The last time
some of these.
we did a comic book movie review, you were on Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah, let's see what they gotta say.
And I also hoed the shit out of some of these fucking these so-called
top analysts.
So first off, their tomato score, which is bullshit, is at 30%.
Wow.
But the audience score is at 89. I'm calling it 90% even. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. So let's take a look at some of these verified people. Critic review. This is from Richard Roper from the Chicago Sun-Times. Top critic.
It's Ebert and Roper.
Yep, Chicago Sun-Times. I'm pretty sure that I hoed this guy on one of our previous...
No,
I haven't?
No, because I know Roper. This is one of the top film critics ever.
Well, apparently he's
Siskel and Ebert and Roper. Like, he's up there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. He doesn't know what he's fucking talking about.
All right. Hey.
A tone-deaf, uneven, and...
I'm going to listen to Nathaniel Pippin over Richard Roper.
Dumb clunker that never settles on an identity. First off, you...
Never settles on an identity.
This gaggly
Never
prick.
Settles on an identity.
I'm going to leave you with this. This guy's a
I would argue
prick.
that this movie has a much more consistent tone than Justice League, than Thor Ragnarok...
See, this is the problem
in the comic book genre.
This is the problem with
tons of Marvel
nowadays,
movies. They puncture so many jokes. And Venom has jokes, but in the second half especially, they mostly come from the symbiote.
Yeah.
Because he's a childlike, in-control creature. So when it's like, hey, doctor, do I have a parasite that would allow me to jump into a tree super fast? Tom Hardy's on the phone talking to his ex-girlfriend's boyfriend, who's a doctor, and he's like, oh yeah, you got this parasite. And he's like, oh yeah, would it let me jump into a tree real fast? You know, he's acting like a smart ass. Like, no shit, I have a fucking parasite. And then the symbiote's like, oh, yes, we just did that. Like, that's fucking great. Yeah. That's good humor. That's great Venom comic book humor.
Method acting, because Tom Hardy voiced himself and a symbiote.
This movie doesn't take itself too seriously, but it takes the things that need to be taken seriously pretty fucking seriously. Like, the invasion of the alien symbiotes. Okay, so he starts off hating the symbiote. And then by the end, because they have the bond... You saw when he was falling, he's screaming, Venom! At first I saw it and I was like, that's kind of corny. But the second time I saw Venom, I was like, holy shit, that's kind of like a real parasitic connection.
They're connected.
He's
really bonded with his body. He didn't feel
nice.
Complete. What I like about this is the subtle things.
That's a fucking tone.
Yeah. There's subtle things in this movie. Very end of the movie. What should we have for dinner? Tater tots and chocolate. First off, if anyone doesn't know, because I'm pretty sure no one does, and these critics clearly don't know, Venom's 2 guilty pleasures were brains and chocolate in the comic books. And when Eddie Brock wanted to suppress him wanting to eat brains, he gave him fucking chocolate. So he literally is addicted to sweets. That's what suppressed his, like, cannibalistic side point to that. From there, we're going to go on to another top critic. This guy is for the new...
Before you go on, here's another thing about the tone. So, he has to eat a lot. So there's this funny scene where he barges into his ex's dinner because he knows where she'll be. And the doctor's there, and he's having this fucking breakdown, and everyone's looking at him horrified. Well, he makes a great ass of himself. He jumps in the fucking tank and starts eating lobsters.
Yeah.
And then that leads to the MRI scene where he has the fucking freak out. And then he finally detaches himself from the symbiote. How is that a tone issue? Just because they want to lighten the mood to make a PG-13 movie? Like, I understand, Roper, that... this motherfucker. I understand that studios interfere and make shit that's supposed to be R-rated PG-13 to get a wider audience. But that's not a fucking tone issue. That's an editing issue. That's why the first act is really slow and the third act is over pretty quickly. I mean, I'm doing this live. What the fuck, Roper? You had like a week to write that, probably.
The thing about this PG-13 rating is Sony has clearly been in talks with Marvel to bring Venom into their universe.
And Marvel doesn't want to do it.
But after Spider-Man's contract's up with Marvel, they might not have a choice. Because they technically still own Spider-Man. And if they were to bring Tom Holland back and be like, hey, we're doing a Venom Spider-Man movie, Tom Hardy and Tom Holland, I think that'd be a good idea.
It's not going to happen, man. And if it is, it's going to be on Marvel's terms because they're already trying to buy Fox. What makes you think they can't buy Sony?
Fox.
Yeah, I think it's still going through.
I don't think they'll ever be able to buy Sony.
Maybe not Sony as a company, but Sony Films. I'm sure Sony would be totally willing to sell off their film side. They do nothing but bleed money and get bad reviews.
Yeah.
I mean, Ghostbusters 2016 is fucking shit.
Yeah, and you know what? For all of our viewers out there, it's not because women...
Don't even try to dignify that as a response. That movie sucks.
Yeah, it was just ass.
That movie sucks. I don't give a fuck who was in that movie. Bill Murray was in that movie.
And it sucked.
And it sucked because he fucking went in and was like, oh, well, this is a remake of a movie I don't care about. So in my one scene I have to be in, can I please sit down the entire time? That movie sucked. Nobody gave a fuck about that movie. Nobody, like, there's no care in that movie. Movie sucked. Mm-hmm. So Sony, I'm sure, would be willing to sell off
You're probably
their
right.
film rights.
Other note, let's go to David Edelstein for New York Magazine, Vulture. It's hard to mess up a car chase up and down the street. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to stop there.
Whoa.
This guy's
what? I just stopped drinking my beer.
Certainly doesn't...
That car chase was dope.
Yeah, it was.
That car chase was awesome.
Yeah, this guy is...
I'm about to see Venom for a third time today.
These people are clearly not comic book fans. They don't know who Venom is. They don't know what he's about. They don't know what Eddie Brock's about. These guys are fucking stupid. Kate Gardner, the Mary Sue. Is it a comedy?
Whoa.
Is it an action film?
Did you just say she's a Mary Sue, or is that what she's calling herself?
No, Kate Gardner's her name. The Mary Sue is, I guess, where she's based out of her whatever company or magazine she's got, or blog or whatever. Makes no pretense on being anything more than a superhero film, trading the thematic material present in most major
wouldn't agree with that.
Absolutely not. Major superhero ventures for biting off people's heads. First off, Venom is not a superhero. He is an anti-hero.
He was a villain to start off with, straight up.
I would technically still consider him a villain.
His origin story is the most... And this is what really blows my mind. These people really can eat a dick. Because the most, interesting part of Venom is his origin story. How it started off as Black Suit Spider-Man. and then over a decade later turned into the symbiote returning to take Eddie Brock because Peter Parker and his arrogance took down Eddie Brock, and it came back to bite him on the ass. So to see Sony try to turn that really dope origin story and the succeeding Carnage storyline with his origin story, where Eddie Brock and Cletus Cassidy shared opposing cells, and when the symbiote came back for Eddie, it left a little piece behind for Carnage, which, to see Sony try to even change that a little bit and have success, I applaud them. That makes it a good movie alone, honestly, because they were able to successfully change something a little bit without being unfaithful to the character. So these critics can just fuck off. Straight up.
12 critic reviews.
Ridiculous.
Top critics. I skipped them all. I went to the normal people's reviews. There's 100 pages with a 90% audience score, which means 10% is in the 2s and 3s. Every one of these single things that I see, why are the critics always wrong? This is an amazing movie. I've seen it twice. 5 stars, 5.5
Like I said,
stars.
I'm seeing it for a third time today. My cousin and aunt are seeing it for the first time today. I'm taking them to see it with me. This movie is really good.
Yeah. I like this one. October 9th, 2018. This guy gave it 5.5 stars. I found this film to be highly enjoyable. Such a 90s nostalgia trip, and the Tom Hardy versus Tom Hardy dynamic is awesome. That is a review. Not shitting on it because you think you're a top critic. Let's be honest. You guys are washed out and you don't know what you're talking about.
Not only are you washed out, you're washed up, you're ignorant, and you don't know what people like.
Clearly.
You never did. It was just you didn't have an internet full of people telling you what they really wanted to hear. You were just gifted a position of luxury before because there was no wider distribution to the people than cable and radio. And now that's over.
Yep, those guys are fucking stupid.
So,
if I had to call Venom what it is, I would say 9 out of 10.
Would you rather see Venom or A Star Is Born? Because I saw A Star Is Born, and let me tell you, it's pretty unoriginal. Like I said, it's the third remake. It's really like the second remake, but it's the third time we've seen this story. It's based off of 2 existing stories already called A Star Is Born. It's just Hollywood sucking its own dick. It's just musicians and entertainers trying to show the life of a struggling artist. It's a fucking story we've seen 1,000 times. And yeah, it's tragic and sad and whatever else, but it's just not interesting. I'd rather see Venom. And Venom's good. It's not a 28%. Like, what the fuck is up with Rotten Tomatoes?
Well, see, on Rotten Tomatoes, just so everyone's aware.
Yeah, the top critic. We already talked about that.
Yeah, so that's how that is. They look at the top critic score rather than the low critic score. If you go through there and look at personal reviews, everyone's...
Yeah, so, what? Yeah. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, because that's how they do it. But we've been over this in previous podcasts. Rotten Tomatoes is nothing to go off of. There's just really no other... I don't want to say there's no other way we could look at it.
There's Metacritic and IMDb.
Yeah, but I don't like IMDb. I like Metacritic. We should probably start using that more. Would I rather go see that movie over Venom? I would rather see Venom, obviously. I'm not going to go... I mean, I like both the people in there. You know, I like Lady Gaga. I think she's coming into her own. But that's just not the kind of movie I fuck with. You know what I mean? It's a singing movie. It's real slow, probably. It's real gushy. You know, it's I don't want to say it's a chick flick, but it's just a boring ass movie. It's like a drama slash
traditional drama.
Yeah, right. It's something I don't fuck with. You know what I mean? But
now we're gonna get into spoilers. I'm gonna cut you off.
No, it's okay.
You saw the mid-credit scene?
Yes.
How'd you feel about Carnage? Woody Harrelson.
There was only 2 people ever in my mind to be able to do Carnage.
Okay.
Woody Harrelson and Jim Carrey.
Okay.
Jim
I pooped
Carrey.
on both of those, but Jim Carrey, I actually shouldn't poop on.
Jim Carrey has absolutely lost his mind. I don't ever want to see him in another movie. Not because of his political beliefs or anything like that.
Cold dead hand.
But the guy has lost his fucking mind, and quite honestly, I can't fuck with him anymore. He's absolutely unattached from the world. He thinks he's like this fucking prophet, and I can't fuck with it. He's dumb. So, Woody Harrelson, I think, is going to make a phenomenal Carnage. But on another note, the guy who played Rorschach, I think would have been a great Carnage.
Jackie Earle Haley?
Yep.
Well, his career pretty much died after Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
No, I know, but I'm saying, I think he would have been a great Carnage. I
don't think I could see anyone better, actually, now that you say it.
And the comic books looks just like him.
Yeah, very short, redheaded, just
Skinny,
savage,
looking like a piece of shit. Yeah.
Wow. Why didn't they get him? I'm sure he's available.
Yeah, I bet he is. With with a little push and a little nudge, that right there.
Oh, he could have totally done it.
Oh yeah. And I can only imagine. I'm imagining his face right now, looking up with that red hair and just staring at Tom Hardy. I can only imagine it.
How do you feel about them changing the origins of all this stuff now, though, for their Sony multiverse? It's multi-Spider-Man universe. Because they're trying to compete with Marvel right now. Before we go on, actually, overall, Venom. I'm giving it an 8.
I'm giving it a 9.
And, I'm hypercritical, but I thought the movie was fantastic.
Yeah, so did I.
I really enjoyed it. Like I said, there was some editing problems. The first act, very long. Blends into the second act, and it takes like an hour. It takes way too long to get to Eddie Brock and the symbiote finally doing some damage together and deciding to team up. Could have cut out some of that stuff or consolidated some of those scenes together. I don't know. You could have done something to make that first act shorter and move quicker and then better establish the antagonistic symbiote, Riot, who ended up connecting with Carlton Drake. Could have done something better to set that up. But for what we got, like I said, it was fine. It was a good movie. I just wish to begin that it was a little shorter, and to end it was a little longer and better established, if that makes sense.
It does.
That was my only complaint with the movie. I pretty much enjoyed everything else. I wish it was R-rated, and I hope that this movie keeps making money so that Sony will feel comfortable with going with an R-rated second Venom. Which brings us to that scene with Carnage, because if Carnage is in the second one, which I'm hoping he will, because you didn't want to blow him in the first one,
right.
You bring in Riot, a lesser-known symbiote, bring in Carnage, the main villain, and second most interesting symbiote in the Spider-Man universe after Venom. But with Cletus Cassidy, a serial killer in Carnage, it's also like a very bloodthirsty symbiote. That's why he's red. It's got to be R-rated. He's got to kill a lot of people.
Maybe they'll do an R-rated version.
Like Fox hasn't got bought out by Disney yet.
I thought it already got finalized.
Yeah, but I think they're still working through it. In any case, even if they do, I think maybe Disney could use X-Men to do R-rated stuff. But would they even allow the Venom symbiote universe to keep going if they ever bought Sony? I don't even think they would understand this type of shit.
I think if you got someone who really understood, like Kevin Feige, he understands this portion of the Marvel Universe. I think if you got someone like him that understood the Spider-Man universe, because the Spider-Man universe, yes, is a part of the Marvel universe, but yes, he's an Avenger, but
well, he's not. He dropped out, remember?
He'll eventually.
Did he become one in Infinity War?
Yes. He became an Avenger.
Yeah, okay.
So
I've only seen that movie one time.
It's
and it was
weird.
fucking
If we're going
fantastic.
off comic books, you can't always go off comic books because they do flip-floppities.
Well, that and the movies are different from the comics. They're based off the comics, but it's the movies, so it's a different universe.
Yeah. If they were to bring
look at it in
the
grand
Spider-Man
scheme of
universe into reality for Marvel, I think their approach would be Tom Holland Sinister Six. I think that would be their main focus.
They wanted to do a Sinister Six movie, but Amazing Spider-Man 2 got such bad reviews, rightfully so, that they scrapped it. And now they're going forward with this Venom thing, but then now they're doing this animated Into the Spider-Verse that comes out on Christmas. And you know what? That's the other mid-credit scene, post-credit scene, whatever you want to call it. It looked great. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw the trailer.
The 5-minute fucking scene?
You had Peter Parker, you had Miles Morales, you had Gwen Stacy, you had...
No, I'm talking about at the end of Venom.
Right.
Where Miles Morales drops down to Peter Parker's grave, and Peter Parker shows up, and he, like, knocks him out with his own web shooter.
There was a second...
Did you not stay for the second credit scene?
The movie literally ended.
No, there's 2 scenes at the end of Venom. You didn't stay for the second scene?
I didn't know there was a second scene.
Bro, I was trying to tell you there was a second scene. It's like 5 minutes long.
I'm about to take a look at it. Animated?
Yes, it's a scene from Into the Spider-Verse. That's what I'm saying. They have their own Venom universe, and now they're trying to set up this other one now because they can't make Spider-Man movies because they made that deal with Marvel. So because they won't do Spider-Man movies because Marvel's they've pretty much got Spider-Man on loan for their films, of which we're getting another Spider-Man movie, Far From Home, after Infinity War next year in July, because the next Infinity War comes out in like May or late April. So Sony's trying to set up their own Spider-Man universe, but this one's animated, so technically they don't have to, they have their own Spider-Man. Exactly. And not only that, they're incorporating comic characters, so they're going to be a little more technically comic faithful now, because they're using the modern day stuff. Like, that's why Miles Morales is in this movie. That's why Spider-Gwen is in this movie, in that trailer you were talking about. But yeah, you should have stayed for the whole credits to Venom, because there's a fucking, like, how long is the scene?
2 minutes.
It's 2?
3 minutes.
3 minutes? It felt like 5. But it's a 3-minute scene that shows Miles Morales and Peter Parker interacting. And I'm gonna guess it's from the movie.
Seems to be. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, the movie looks pretty interesting.
Well, you know what I'm excited for?
Wasn't looking forward to it going in, but now that gets me into this Sony Spider-Verse overall versus where the MCU is gonna go.
I'm excited for Spider-Man Noir.
What?
That's what the Spider... So there was 5 Spider-Mans you saw on there in the Welcome to the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, there's also Spider-Pig.
Yeah, that was kind of silly.
Well, he's in there.
I know he is. Spider-Noir is the version of Spider-Man from, like, back in, like, the 40s. Or 40s or 50s.
Well, Spider-Man didn't get created until the 60s.
No, I mean, that's when... It's like a newer thing, but that's when it takes place. Because it's during World War II. So, Spider-Man Noir, he uses Uncle Ben's, like, World War II outfit. And he has a gun and shit like that. And it's weird. You gotta look into it a little bit.
Okay.
Interesting, though.
What's that got to do with Marvel's cinematic universe and Sony's Spider-Verse, though?
Well, I was just stating I'm excited to see him in Spider-Verse. I don't know. What
do you mean you don't know?
I don't know. I gotta see it when it comes out. I'll see them both.
Well, I mean, Far From Home comes out in July.
Yep.
Like the last Spider-Man movie, Homecoming.
Far From Home. I wonder how it's gonna be.
Well, Jake Gyllenhaal is gonna be Mysterio.
I'm kind of excited.
You're kind of excited? Have you... Look at the fucking...
No, I saw his...
Look at the costume.
I saw his costume.
Holy shit!
I just don't fuck with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Why?
Because he did... I mean, he's a good actor.
He did Nightcrawler.
I know he did Nightcrawler. He did a lot of things. did Southpaw. He did not just Southpaw. He did fucking Full Metal or not Jarhead. I was about to say Full Metal Jacket, bro. So I'm excited to see him. I'm just curious how he's gonna do it.
Why?
Because there's only been a few times that he's proven himself.
What do you mean? He's pretty much good in almost everything he does. Let me get this straight. You're giving Jason Momoa a pass for having a faithful comic adaptation to a costume, but Mysterio doesn't get a pass, even though we're also cutting Jason Momoa, the worse actor, slack, and Jake Gyllenhaal, the better actor with the better costume, is getting absolutely nothing from you right now. Is that what's happening?
I've seen Jason Momoa in other movies. I've seen him in TV show. If we're going to talk about acting, I think Jason is better than Jake. Jake Gyllenhaal.
This is a slap in the face.
Jake Gyllenhaal has brought some strong movies.
Slap in the face.
Jake Gyllenhaal has brought some strong movies out. That's what I'm saying. No, he's a really good actor. But if it's going to come into this kind of scenario, Jason Momoa is going to, in my personal opinion, is going to take the cake. Now, the only reason why I'm so hard on this is because every time I've seen Mysterio in something, he's a fucking loser. He gets his ass beat. The only time that I was scared of this...
He's the master illusionist.
The only time I was scared of this motherfucker was Spider-Man 2. I walked inside the grocery store and beat his ass. I'm like, this is over. I'm done. I never got to see him again. 20 minutes later, I'm inside his fucking apartment fighting a fucking 80-foot tower of a monster, dying every time, man. It took me literally 45 tries to actually beat him. So, I'm excited. I like the suit. I gave it a little hate, earlier on, but I'm really excited to see where it plays. But at the same time, he's got to bring the heat, bro.
He's gonna bring the heat. When does he not bring the heat?
He brings the heat in different movies. This is a different climate. Nightcrawler, different climate.
So you're thinking he's gonna sink Far From Home?
Absolutely not. Tom Holland wouldn't allow that.
What? You think he's that big of a star?
I got
Michael Keaton killed it as the Vulture. You think they're gonna let down with Mysterio? He's one of Spider-Man's first villains.
Michael Keaton is amazing, though. I'm Batman. Guy's a fucking legend. No, on the real, though, I'm excited for both universes. I'm excited because I like the animated movies.
Well, yeah, but you said Marvel was going to run out of steam soon, at one point.
Eventually. I think it's going to be a hard transition. It's been 10 years. We've been ride or die with Captain America, Thor, the Hulk, Iron Man. This shit has been ride or die for fucking 10 years. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. It's going to be tough for me to go see another Marvel movie after they're done. It really is. It's going to be extremely tough for me.
Why?
I've been waiting 10 years to see them fuck up Thanos. And you know what happened?
They got destroyed.
Infinity War, bro. I was literally on the brink of fucking tears in that theater. Because 10 years...
I was fucked up.
A decade, bro. We've waited.
He didn't even...
A decade.
He didn't even break a sweat.
Listen, I knew I was at my breaking point when Iron Man gave it his all, and all he did was make him bleed a little bit. A mortal man made a god bleed. And when he got stabbed in the stomach with his own sword, I saw the face that Robert Downey Jr. made, and I just looked at him, and he's like, it's over.
I hope they remember you.
Exactly. Like, I didn't see Iron Man or Tony Stark. I saw Robert Downey Jr. like 10 years. It's done. Even though he didn't die, he's got one more movie.
He's done after that one?
Oh, he's done after that one.
Why?
I don't think he's going to do it anymore. He's tired of putting the suit on, he said.
Well, he also said that after, like, Iron Man 3.
Oh, did he?
That was, like, 5 years ago.
The guy's 50, man. 51.
I think he's in his mid-50s now.
Probably. Guy can't do it when he's in his 60s. Come on. I mean, he might. Hey, man, if he keeps putting the suit on for another 4 or 5 movies, I'm
Who's
down.
gonna replace him? Riri Williams?
No,
She's a disaster from the comics. Nobody likes her.
Oh, Iron Gauntlet or whatever it's called.
No, the chick who's been Iron Man for like 3 or 4 years now.
That's not T'Challa's sister, is it?
No.
No.
It's Riri Williams.
Oh, yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, because nobody likes her.
Yeah.
She's one of those politically correct characters that Marvel Comics has been introducing to every single famous character slot.
Oh.
That nobody's reading.
Yeah, because no one's
But
fucking
everyone in the comic industry who's a writer at Marvel Comics is getting upset about.
It's just dumb, bro. Make my characters the way they're supposed to be. I have no problem with different characters, but don't change a character to fit a certain demographic just so you don't want to be looked at as a racist. No, that's not how shit works. Comic books are comic books. You leave it the way they are. Keep that political bullshit at home. You know what I mean? Don't.
Well, you think that Brie Larson's gonna bring that shit into the Captain
Hey, dude,
Marvel movie?
I'm not gonna front with you. I have no idea. Listen,
Because she's supposed to show up in Infinity War 2 as well. And she's probably going to be the one that beats Thanos, honestly.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. The only person in
She's supposed to be like the most powerful character in the universe.
She is an alien. Okay? There's only one person in that whole fucking show that I will condone talking about religion, and that's Steve Rogers. Just because he's Captain America, what time frame he's from, and how he was untainted from the future.
Makes sense.
That's
completely understandable. That's
leave
how
that
it
alone.
should be.
I do not want to hear any of my other characters talking about the religion. I know other characters' religions. Tony Stark's an atheist, but he doesn't talk about it. I don't want to hear that in the movie. I'm not trying to hear about this person's political or personal beliefs. I don't want that. So, if they bring Miss Marvel in, and then she starts talking about how she's Islamic, I won't go see the movies anymore.
Well, that's a different character.
No,
see, you're thinking of, I think, Miss Marvel, the new character that they made, who's like a trans-packy, gay woman. I don't know. Something like... Honestly, it sounds like it's a fucking joke from South Park.
For real.
I mean, fucking... The way this comics industry is going. My God. In any case, they're throwing out the Captain Marvel shit. Marvel, the alien, the original Captain Marvel. They're throwing out all that shit because they said it doesn't translate well to live action. So they're giving her like a brand new origin, essentially.
Okay, well that's fine. As long as I don't hear about any religion or any political belief, I don't want that, dude. I'm not going there. I'm not going to a movie to watch the news, bro. I won't watch it. I promise you. If you bring any type of fucking personal shit from the real world into a fake reality, I will not watch Infinity War 2. I will not see it. As simple as that. And
Do you think Sony would even play that ball?
No. Sony, they're all Japanese. They don't play that shit. Japanese, and that's not a knock at anyone. The Asian culture, from what I understand, and the Asian governments and Japanese, China, all that stuff, they're very refined on their beliefs. They're very into themselves, meaning they believe they need to keep their line in their line. Religion in a lot of places is different from over here. It's different. So the way they do things over in Asia is a lot different how they do things over in Europe, in the West, and the Middle East. They're their own place. They don't play that shit. They do what they want to do. They don't conform to what the world wants or what the world thinks they need. Very traditional. It's a very old traditional way of thinking.
And you're going to employ that line of thinking on Captain Marvel if they implement that into the MCU? Which, by the way, it comes out March 8th, 2019. It's going to be here in 5 months. They don't put their traditionalism
in the Spider-Man universe. They don't talk about religion. They don't talk about racism. They don't talk about they don't talk about any of that. It's the end goal. Spider-Man, Rhino. Spider-Man, something bad
How
happens.
can we entertain the masses? That's what Sony's thinking.
Make a good movie.
Make a good movie.
It's fake reality. It's fake.
Do you think Marvel is starting to tread in a direction that's not just entertain the customer?
In the comics, yeah.
In the comics, definitely. Do you think they might go that way in the movies going forward? Because I know you said Marvel's going to be running out of shit to talk about.
No,
they're going to be running out of things.
they have a lot of shit to do. I just think it's going to be hard for people that have been watching this shit for a decade to come back and watch some new character take over the role. They've done it correctly, I'll say this. So, like, for example, Bucky, if he takes over Captain America, I'd be smooth with that. Because they slowly brought him in. They worked him up. They gave him a story. They showed the friendship. They
Correct.
showed the...
That's right. That's true.
Right?
Everything...
And plus, T'Challa likes
things are going to
Bucky.
feel more natural, and some things may feel forced, but we're not sure yet, because we're not there.
And T'Challa likes Bucky, which is a good sign. From that point, I think they got a good replacement for Steve Rogers, Chris Evans. The Vision's not dead, so we still got him, great actor. Scarlet Witch is not dead, we still have her, great actress. It's undecided about Robert Downey Jr. We don't know. We have Tom Holland to look forward to. He's been brought
And
in.
I'm sure that Spider-Man Far From Home, which will be the third Marvel film released this year. They're going to release 3 a year, apparently, going forward. Captain Marvel March, I think it's going to suck. Infinity War is going to be late April, early May. It's probably going to be great. And then Far From Home in July.
Yep.
As far as 2020, I'm not sure yet. But
Let's
we'll
see
know
what
more
happens.
going forward.
Because right now...
I think it'll be great. I think these films will be great except for Captain Marvel, but I think the other two will be so great I might just forget about Captain Marvel. I don't know. That movie might not even suck as bad as I think it will.
Well, we'll find out.
However, Sony's Spider-Verse, I haven't talked about much, but that's just because we've only gotten Venom and we've yet to see how they're attempting to tie it in to their animated Spider-Verse, because so far all it's been is a second post-credit scene that Nathaniel didn't even watch, so we'll see.
I just saw it. It's actually looked pretty dope.
It looked very dope, and by looked very dope, I mean it was very dope.
It was pretty dope.
So,
I'm
do
excited
I think
to see
Sony
Miles
will
Morales.
compete with Marvel? No. But do I think Marvel may start slipping up moving forward? Do I think you now have a point about they don't have much to work with going forward? Maybe.
It's 50-50. Kevin Feige, I don't think he's going to leave him high and dry, because apparently he's leaving.
Yeah, in like 2020 or something, right?
Yeah, it's going to be 2020. It's official. That's from his Twitter account. That's from his spokesman.
Is he running for president?
I have no idea. I will say
Feige,
this.
2020?
There is 20 movies that Disney and Marvel currently have planned in production for after Avengers. So I don't think Kevin Feige is going to leave them for another job and not set them up. I think he's going to put the people in charge. I think he's going to coordinate
put
this.
his best efforts forward.
Yeah, I think he's, they treated him well and he treated them well. I think he's going to leave on a good term, which means helping. You know what I mean? And he's obviously, this is his child at this point. He's going to be there in the back scenes, you know what I mean? So that's how I'm looking at it.
Why would he even give a fuck, though? I mean, who's to say he really does care anymore? Maybe he put out all this fucking heat and he's like, oh, well, I'm done now.
I mean,
Infinity War was great. I'm out the door. See ya.
Maybe the Russo brothers will step up.
Can they carry a franchise like that?
I mean, they've been...
What would you do?
What would I do?
Okay. All right. Nathaniel Pippin, welcome to the Disney head of Marvel Studios.
What would I do?
What are we going to do today, sir? It's your first day on the job.
So, unfortunately, you cannot have a direct comic book to movie adaptation. It is impossible. I don't care what anyone says. Not even the Batman movies. It's all a spin. You have to have a spin. You got to give it that flair, and you got to do it within a 2.5 hour time span.
Why so serious?
Exactly. So, if it was me, I would take a lot of inspiration from the comic books, do accurate suits, which they have been doing, let's be honest, and then just go from there. Being in charge of something is all about hiring the right people for the job. Delegation.
So what do you do? What's your first move?
My first move, obviously, I'm keeping everybody that's working there because, first off, if Kevin Feige hired them, then clearly they're there for a reason.
Yeah, but sir, we need 3 movies, so what's the plan?
What movies?
Yep. You're in charge.
Well, we would have to use movies people like. So, Captain America's done. I mean, at that point, we could spin it off and put Bucky in charge of Captain America, or...
I mean, you're in charge, sir. We're just here to write down ideas. What are we doing?
Man, shit, I don't know. I guess it would have to be in the heat of the moment. I would have to sit down for like an hour and figure it out.
So you can't do the job.
No, I could do the job. I would be damn good at the job. It's just... these motherfuckers don't come with it up overnight. Kevin Feige's like... It's not like you got Mickey Mouse up in the tower like, hey... What do we got? Hey, Mick, give me like a day and a half, bro. I got to plan it. Okay. So, you know what I mean? That's just how it's got to go. So, it would take a little bit of time to plan these out. And it's going to. You know, we waited 10 years for fucking Infinity War, man. You can't rush these things.
Well, I know this much. This has been Cheese of La Vida. Been doing this for a long fucking time now today. Mike.
Nathaniel, we're signing off.